All right, boys and girls, right now we're going to be looking at mountains right over here, like background mountains, nothing too tricky. I'm going to be using a little bit of a small bright brush, large bright brush, color interpretation, and making magic happen with some trees and whatnot. So if you're doing mountains, you want to see how to make them go from good to whoa. Come on down. Come on down. Take some notes on. Come on down, take some notes on. Okay, in the background, so I'm going to do with the green. And green, in general, don't use permanent green a lot often. Yellow and black make a really nice earthy green. This is kind of a blue sky, so we'll leave it a little bit more of the permanent green. Then, when you're doing this is a base coat. And by that, I mean clean edges. Watch this clean edge. And then when I'm outlining the mountain, I'm not simplifying it. So even if the reference went like this, so if the reference went like that, that's okay. However, if you added extra little bumpy dumps to it, like bumpy dump there, and then adds a little more livelihood to it so it looks a little more interesting. And this is too dark, by the way. I will go back in and lighten it up. So the base coat for this one, I'm just trying to map out colors and values. And so when I'm doing this, I'm also aware of like what needs to be lighter and darker. So the base of this mountain, and right here is like a little bit on the too thick side. So I'm tapping the brushes in, I'll do like a little strip right here so you can kind of see it. Call this a stripper show. All right, and down here it's going to get a little bit lighter, more blues. So with the mountains, you want to do the whole mountain first before you put the trees in. Don't go around them. Don't let go and well, there's going to be a tree here, so I don't need to do that. No, finish the mountain. Make the whole mountain look good. That way when there's a gap in between like the mountains or the trees, you see it like a nice, perfect little mountain. And you go like, oh, that's nice. Okay, so then the next layer is another hill. Like right here, there's another hill in front of it. To differentiate that, it's always good to have like contrasting values. I'll have like a little bit more light, so that's going to be like a lighter value right there. And as you notice, when I'm doing this, it's going to be different colors still, so I'm going to be mopping this out. Then once I'm done with this layer, this single layer here, I'm going to go a little more green. A little more green right here. Tap a room. Then watch the brush strokes though. So the brush strokes, I'm not doing this. And here going sideways. A little dot over there. A little variety. Over here. A little monkey punch. All right, so that's good. Now I'm going to take that into a base coat. Base coat, I have basic values established. I have basic colors and textures kind of going. Now layer 2, this is layer 2 now we're on. I'm going to get more picky about the colors that I have. So I'm going to do a little bit more cerulean blue to match the color of the, so I'm doing the highlights. And with the highlights, I'll have white, a little cerulean blue on that, and to get rid of that pure green. So it's going to be like some highlights on there. And this is like a lot smaller brush. A lot smaller. Tippy tap, taparoo. And I'm still leaving some of the dark values in there. And still see those, it just gives me a little more texture and what have you. And the brush strokes are going to be following the contour of the hill. So it's going up and down. These do the same thing. Up, down over here. So you kind of see like the variance there. So if you start dark and you add lighter, it's going to look a lot more rich and full. All right, so now it's getting kind of flat, so I'm going to add a few more highlights using like the yellow ochre and white to make a little more variety. So you don't want the same color over and over again. So here I'm going to add a little bit of the yellow ochre and white. That'll make it nice and spicy. Then too much paint. Get rid of that. And then going back up this direction toward the top of the hill. And then if you want to feel like you're like going like even more wild and crazy, you could even add burnt sienna. Watch this. Burnt sienna right there. You ready for this? Here it goes. A little burnt sienna. A little burnt sienna over here. Maybe a little touch of it over here. You know, so it looks like The artist probably looked at that mountain and said, I love you, mountain. I love you, hill. Without that burnt sienna, though, you don't really know. It might be just kind of alike. Kind of like, I like you, hill. But we're not going to be more than friends. So right here, next thing, after I have those base things done, contrast is a little weak between these two. So what I'm going to do is use that opportunity for some, I like to call it treeage. So the trees are going to be darker, closer up, and then lighter further away. More atmospheric perspective. So I'm mixing up a little black, a little green, a little blue for atmospheric perspective. Then I'll add some of these guys back here. I'll check out the value changes. Those are pretty good, so watch this. Small little guys back here. A little tree over them. A little tree over here. They're like little dots. But they're not just like random dots. So when you make these dots, you gotta like have the tops of them be a little bit different. Close out the bottoms. Then down here, the trees are gonna have more contrast. I'm gonna add more black to it. More black, more blue. And right here, like right there, that's gonna make the contrast stand out quite a bit. Now I go in, add this little tree action right over here. Hi, little tree. It's kind of cute. So it's all about contrast. When you're painting, even if you're following a reference, but you're going, you know what, this could use more contrast right in here. It's kind of hard to see. Just go ahead and do another little line. It's going to really separate the two and turn these into like smaller trees. Just like the reference. And then you could add some blue highlights if you wanted to later. Those are kind of magical. All right, then watch this. I'm going to take this skinny little line right here, turn it into an Italian cypress. What? Italian cypress. All right. I'll have an ugly oleander freeway bush right there. A broken branch. Okay. The next phase here, we have, for that background, there's a couple of lines in here where you can see like different crops are growing, so they have like a little division. I'll put that in there. You want division? I'll show you division. So they have more like a greener section like over here. Goes across the country line. So this is like one straight line. That's terrible. On purpose. Then I'll like fade it out. So I'll get rid of that one straight line. So it's like a row of crops being grown out there. And a little more darker over here. Variety. But you see the difference in brush strokes. Some long ones, some short ones, going sideways, following the contour of the hill, going up. Now it's like a little darker crop land going out there. Then I'll add, going back to the detail, I'll add more little trees right here, except these are like bushes, and then more contrast. I'll start with a really dark base, and when I add the highlights, they'll stand out. So like right here, that's like a place I want to go. I don't want to like stay there, but like maybe visit. Like if your grandma lived in this house, it'd be fun to go see her, you know. Visit for like a couple hours. And say, well, time to go. But a nice location. All right, where's my blue? There it is. I'll go a little more blue on the blue side over here. A little more blue highlights. Put some blue in the ground. A little crazy with color interpretation, and we're gonna do a little more on that side over there. And over here, they had same thing. A little bit more over here, little dots, little shrubs, and tap it out just a little bit to hide it. All right, that is it for a little quick little. Oh, did I do something?